So, quick story on a conversation that I had with a ministry leader within the past day or two. Not a big deal, not a big deal, but I think that there's a point that should be made here that applies to ministry leaders, nonprofit leaders, and even certain types of entrepreneurs. Okay. So, brief story. For those of you that know that I've been building websites for years. Now I don't like really build websites per se. I spend a lot more time creating an army of other creatives out there by empowering them and enabling them to sell their services online. So I'm far more invested in helping digital creatives with selling and marketing their services and stuff like that. So but I still have a number of people that I've hosted their website in the past, and so I still have those clients. I had a ministry leader, and I'm not going to mention any names, but I had a ministry leader reach out to me. Their hosting had lapsed. They are going through a rebrand and everything, and they said, "Hey, can I get my website back?" And I mean, for those that know how hosting works, typically, if you lapse with a hosting company, they're deleting your stuff. You got to rebuild everything. With me, because of some issues I had in the past, I back up everything. So I have terabytes worth of websites that are backed up just in case somebody comes to me and says, "Hey, I need this." Cool, I got it. So I just happen to have a backup of their website. So I said, "Hey, I'll give you two options. I'll deploy what you had before, and then you could be responsible for making whatever changes you need. Or if you want, I could work with you on updating the site." And of course, the investment's a little bit higher. They chose to go with the cheaper option, right? The second the invoice was paid, mind you, again, this isn't a big project. This is more like me helping out someone that I've known for years. The moment the invoice was paid, again, the scope is to just redeploy the site. Right after it's paid, the request was made, "Hey, can you also update this and update that?" So for those of you that have been in any type of project management role, you know that the definition of that is scope creep, right? So anything that's outside of the scope of what they invested in is creep, right? So it's a slippery slope there, right? So I immediately responded and said, "Hey, if you want me to make changes, then there's going to be an additional investment that would have to be made." So long story short, it was like, "No, I don't want to do that. I'll rather fight with it myself." So I responded with, "Hey, Pastor, I don't think it's the best use of your time to be fighting with a website. I think it would be a far better use of your time to just invest in getting this knocked out," right? And so they opted to not take that advice and kind of fight with it, right? So the reason I'm bringing this up is because as a ministry leader, and again, I'm not throwing any shade or anything like that, but I'm expressing what I think would be a highly leveraged position, and the ability to be a good steward of resources. Okay, so if you are the leader of a ministry, or if you're the leader of a nonprofit, or if you're the leader of a business, if you're not able to afford certain things right now, and everything that you can afford is based off of what people are contributing to your ministry or to your nonprofit, what that means is that you're not selling them enough on the importance of what you're looking to invest in. So there are some ministry leaders that every Sunday or every Saturday, it's just like, "Hey, praise God, praise God, praise God." And then it's like, "Oh, I can't afford to upgrade this in my building. I can't afford to build this website. I can't afford to stream in better quality. I can't afford this camera equipment." But then there's other ministry leaders and nonprofit owners. They'll say, hey, congregation, let's all march in the same direction here. Let's expand this message. If you like what it is that we're doing here, our mission and vision is these three things. This is what we're all charging to. In order to achieve this, there are certain things that we need. This is what we need. These are the things we need. It may be feasible for us to get some of these things that we need within the next 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 1 year, if we work together on on curating resources to make it happen. Right. So now all of a sudden you're selling your congregation on why it's important for you to invest in certain things. And you're not sitting there saying, oh, I can't afford to do this or I can't afford to do that. Now, in the world we live in right now, especially with ministries, there are so many ways for you to be able to not solely rely on donations and offerings, right? You can create online assets. You can create digital products. There are so many ministry leaders right now saying, hey, you know what? I have a 1 week program that even if someone doesn't attend my church, even if someone doesn't attend my ministry, I think they could find a tremendous amount of value in taking my 7-day program on how to have a lasting marriage, how to raise good children. How to introduce religion to your child at the age of ... Like, you can start to create these little things, and yes, there's an investment that they pay in order to get access to that information. Now, if you're leading this ministry in a way, then people aren't seeing it as, oh my gosh, I'm losing $100 to pay for this course, or oh my gosh, I'm spending this money on this course so I'm filling the pastor's pockets. No, you could even say, hey, you know what? Anything that's purchased goes directly to the ministry. So now imagine this, right? Imagine if you're a ministry leader, you're not getting any reach on social media, but you know that you have to spend at least $1,000 in ads to be able to get some more exposure. You could say, hey, you know what? I'm going to price my program. I'm going to create something that has a value of $1,000 or $500, but I'm going to price it at $200. Let's price it at $200 on a monthly basis. Let's say you got one sale a week. Let's say you got one sale a week, or let's say you got a couple sales a week. You already now have the ability to invest $1,000 in ads to get that exposure to hundreds of thousands of people. That is you being able to create leverage to be able to expand your message because you are leading. It's not a matter of everybody standing around in the mud and saying, oh, what can I afford? What can I not afford? It's about you leading. Okay. So again, I'm not trying to throw shade here, but I am saying that there's a lot more light. If we as leaders could say, hey, you know what? Like, I'm not going to base everything off of what I have access to now. I'm going to say, hey, how can I get creative on curating resources needed to expand my reach? And if you don't have that vision, I don't find there to be anything wrong with like joining another church and like contributing there versus like taking on the burden of building a ministry. There are a lot of leaders that like they see their role as a burden. You shouldn't see your role as a burden or as a cost. Your role should be, hey, I'm creating this because my vision is different and unique and maybe a bit bigger or maybe a bit smaller than some other ministries in the area. And I think this would positively impact the community. This would positively impact people. So it helps because you have a mission and vision that's unique. And you're saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to commit to selling that vision to everybody around me so that people could say, hey, where do I fit to make this happen? Where do I fit to make this happen? A ministry should not be a leader's burden. It shouldn't be a leader's burden. Like you should be galvanizing resources. All right. So, and I know all of this stemmed from a very minor conversation, but now that I'm back from my honeymoon, oh, sorry about that. I hit the microphone. Now that I'm back from my honeymoon, I miss creating content. I miss having discussions with you guys. I miss like recording videos and speaking on different topics. And I miss sort of using this as a mode of expression, I really think that this is a conversation that, again, it's not just applicable to ministry leaders, it's also applicable to nonprofit leaders as well. If you're leading a nonprofit organization and you're not able to sell other people on being able to have some place in that impact, then you at that point have to question whether or not you need to lead a nonprofit organization, or if the organization is needed altogether. You validate the need by seeing who's bought into the vision and mission that you're crafting. If no one's buying into it, there's a couple different things that you have to start to ask yourself. Hey, am I doing what I need to sell it? If you say no, then you may still have something unique and great, but you now are taking ownership and accountability to say, hey, I haven't done enough to be able to get this in front of the right people. If you feel like you have, but you're not getting the buy-in, then now you have to question whether or not you have a valuable mission and vision. Because now that part of validation as well, I have gotten it in front of enough people for them to say, hey, you know what, this is cool or this is not. And they're answering it by not being involved in it. Now, if that's the case, then you have to sit back and say, all right, well, I either need to make a change to what I'm creating here, or I need to find out whether or not there's someone else that I need to expose this to. So everything that I'm speaking to here, again, it applies to ministry, it applies to nonprofits, but it also applies to people that have for-profit businesses as well. There are some people that spend major time on minor things, and I, for one, I can attest, I've spent major time on minor things, not realizing that my true zone of genius is in a different area. It's in a more leveraged area. And so I'm leaning into that, and I'm sharing that message so that it could help out other leaders as well. If you have any questions about this stuff, don't hesitate to hit me up. And if you have an opinion on this, hit me up, or even drop a comment. Tell me what your thoughts are about ministries and the leadership, and them being able to, and them making decisions based off of like what they can afford and what they can't afford and stuff like that. Like I'd love your opinion. Again, I didn't record this video to throw shade. I just want to bring up a point that I think separates those who are like creating something that people are saying, hey, like let's lift this up, versus those people that are still creating something, but they're taking on the burden, and it's way harder to actually build.